It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. Utah State returns home for a Friday night battle against San Jose State. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Curie, Jeremiah Jensen, thanks for being with us on the program. We've got so much going on our Rivalry Week, brought to you by the good folks at UCCU. Love where you bank. And it's another time for us to be able to dip in with somebody who has been a part of the rivalry before, who is not just taken part of the rivalry, but has just blood, sweat, and tears in the rivalry. That's always the fun part, is interviewing these guys that have been at every part of this, media, but more importantly, the player side of it. He's David Nixon, former BYU linebacker, and, of course, BYU Broadcasting, where he also hangs his hat during the week. David, thanks for being on the program here with us, man.
Alex, Jeremiah, great to jump on the show. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. As you get ready for another week and another one, you do it as with two hats on. You try to do the media thing, which is hard to do as a former player. Or is it? Have you gotten used to it at this point? You've done it for so many years. Obviously, a lot more as a media guy as you did as a player, but it must be so hard to put aside those feelings that you had on the field.
Yeah, it is a little bit. I mean, the juices start to flow. You see the sound bites come out from players. I mean, this game means a lot, and it means even more now that both teams are in the Big 12, and now you have access to the college football playoff. I mean, the stakes are higher, probably the highest they've ever been.
Yeah.
When you take all that into consideration. So it's at the end of the day, though, it's so fun. Even as a player, it was a blast. I mean, Bronco tried to always downplay it and say, hey, it's just another game. All of us players, we all knew it wasn't another game. This was the biggest game of the year. And we actually had the luxury of playing it as the last game of the year, which made it pretty fun. Now this game is mid-season, which is kind of weird. Hopefully they can figure this out and put it as the last game again. But it's just fun. It's fun for fans. It's fun for players. It's what college football is all about.
You know, this is only the fourth time ever that BYU and Utah have been ranked in a BYU-Utah game. You were on one of those teams in 2008. How intense was that experience and all the experiences you had on the field, and especially that game in 2008 with so much on the line?
They're always intense, and I think that's why this rivalry is so fun. It's because you throw out the records, you throw out the rankings, and it's anybody's ball game. I mean, I remember there were years where we felt like we should have boat raced Utah in 2006 in specific, and we had to do a back to Harleen to win that game, right? And so it can go either way, and I think that's what makes it so fun. I mean, you look even last year, Utah, BYU on paper should have blown Utah off the grid, and instead it takes their last second field goal to win that one. So, it can go either way, and then that's what brings this whole rivalry. You bring in the emotions of it, you bring in the familiarity between the coaching staffs and the schemes. I mean, just all that gets thrown into this pot, and it's always must-see TV. And I think that's what makes it so fun. And it makes it fun for the players, too. I mean, because like I said, it's something you look forward to, and it's usually a pretty competitive game.
We were just watching the TV angle that KSL had of the Kalani and Kyle meeting at midfield last year. That was absolutely weird because of all the circumstances running right up to that moment. I mean, the refs at that point didn't know if the game was they didn't know whether to call it like totally officially over, were they supposed to get some of the players off. I mean, it was such a wild ending, and it was just such a – like we thought that we'd seen all of it until last year. How much will that play in? I mean, I don't know. You've seen a lot of these rivalry games, and that one ended just about as weird as anything else could, and then we're back to it again this year.
Yeah, I mean, those endings, I feel like both those coaches should know that's just how this is. And you should almost expect the weirdness to pop up. But, listen, there's a lot of similarity between those two, of course. And I know they're still buddies, but it's a unique week. I mean, we saw that with Kyle's soundbite yesterday, right? Like he's fully embraced the rivalry. He doesn't want to talk about BYU, and is just trying to focus in. And that's what this rivalry does to you. It kind of makes you act a little weird. I mean, there's sound bites of him talking about Arizona State's quarterbacks and talking about prior opponent quarterbacks. And all of a sudden, BYU, you can't talk about the quarterbacks. It's just that. But that's what makes it so fun. I mean, I joke with my buddies who are Ute fans. I'm like, listen, you should root for BYU to lose every game. I root for Utah to lose. You should root for BYU to lose, and that's what makes this rivalry so great. It's because you want the other team to lose. You want your team to do better in recruiting across the state. Obviously, when you're winning, you can recruit better. And like that's what rivalries are all about. I grew up in College Station with the Texas A&M and Texas rivalry. I can promise you, I've never once talked to somebody that says, "Oh, I want UT to win" or "I want Texas A&M to win" when you're on the other side. That's what makes it fun. And listen, that's kind of, I mean, NFL has a little bit of this, right? There's some long-time rivalries between franchises, but college, you just throw it all in, and I don't know, it's just special. There's not a lot out there like this.
As for the game, there's so many great storylines on each side of the ball. But I have to ask you about BYU's linebackers because you're one of the all-time great linebackers at BYU, and you played alongside some of those greats. I remember the 2006 team, Cam Jensen, Brian Gill, David Nixon, Kelly Papinga, just the names that you guys had. And now you look at this group now with Jack Kelly. We'll see if he can play Saturday. And Isaiah Glakser, Siale Acera. There's a great list now. Do you still believe that you guys had the best linebacker group at BYU of all time, or are you going to hand it to these guys today?
I don't know, man. They have a very, very strong stance and debate here on whether they belong. I mean,
you guys might have been deeper, though. You guys might have been deeper.
Yeah, listen, we ran a little bit different scheme. We ran a 3-4, so we kind of all played different positions. I mean, it is a different scheme, but when you talk about athletes, and what I like about this BYU linebacker core is they all bring a little something different to the field, right? I mean, Siale Acera's kind of your middle backer, more of your thumper. You got Jack Kelly who can spy a quarterback, and he covers so much ground so quickly with his speed. And then Isaiah Glakser, you put him in any type of pass coverage at 6'5", his catch radius to go and intercept balls and disrupt the quarterback and get into throwing lanes. They all just bring a little something different. And what I love about Jay Hill, what he's done this year, along with Justin and K-Pop, all the coaching staff, is they find ways to showcase and utilize each linebacker and kind of showcase their strengths. And it's been fun to watch. This linebacker room, as well as, frankly, the entire defense, maybe one of the biggest surprises on this whole defense has been the secondary. And you talked about Evan Johnson, Trey Alexander, Maury Bamba. You look back at this game against Arizona, Maury Bamba was probably the defensive player of the game with the big stops he had late in the game. It's just everybody's jumping off the page, and everybody contributes collectively. And it's been a fun defensive unit to follow because of them, BYU will be in this game on Saturday and in every game moving forward. They will have a shot in all these games because this BYU defense is so dominant. And I think that's what makes it pretty fun. And like I said, this linebacker room, you'll be watching Jack Kelly on Sundays, Isaiah Glakser as well. Both of them are going to have a future because both of them can run sideline to sideline. They have got great speed, great closing speed, great acceleration. I mean, they check the box in a lot of areas, and I'm confident they'll be both playing on Sundays moving forward.
How is it that BYU went from having the year that they had in the Big 12 to start things out to not just having the year last year, but to be able to lose the quarterback situation that they did and then to start out 6-0 again? What type of a changeover have you seen in that team? I mean, Utah's finding something similar, right, in year two of the Big 12 as well. It's almost like they got their feet under them. But what's the biggest difference, you think, even just from that 2023 season to right now?
Yeah, I think it's just the culture that Kalani continues to build. I mean, a great program is a program where, yeah, you can lose some guys and it's second string, third string step in, and you don't skip a beat. And yeah, I get the Bear transferred in late, but I think the offense and the defense and the schemes, as well as just the culture that Kalani had built up, allowed Bear to come in and kind of transition pretty seamlessly, right? And I love what Aaron's doing with him. Almost every week it feels like he puts a little bit more on his plate. He's kind of grown him up. He hasn't asked a lot from him. If you look at BYU, we're one of the top teams in the country in play action passes. So he's relying on the run game, which fortunately BYU has a phenomenal run game. You look at LJ last week, averaging 6.5 yards per carry. This offensive unit is able to run the ball, and it all starts up front with those offensive linemen. Everyone talks about Utah's offensive line. I mean, BYU, I think, is very underrated offensive line and how they're performing. They're just dominant. They're dominant up front, and you go watch the Arizona film. They were pushing the Arizona defensive line all over the field, and this was the Arizona defense that came in that game, top 25 in the country in total defense. And BYU controlled the line of scrimmage. So I think it starts up front with this BYU offensive line, and then, of course, the run game, which takes a lot off Bear's shoulders. And then now Parker Kingston's healthy. Chase Roberts continues to do his thing. Carson Ryan, and he's got a lot of targets as well. So it's fun. He's obviously a very capable quarterback, but a lot of credit goes to the talent that's around him and this offensive line that's protecting him. And then the fact that he's kind of fearless, right? I mean, the kid's willing to just sacrifice his body, head downhill, and try to get some yards. I mean, he basically won that overtime single-handedly with his legs. And that's kind of what the game called for, and he's up for the challenge. So I'm loving where this offense is at. It's like I said, it's progressing week by week. Bear, I feel like is kind of maturing before our eyes, this little freshman quarterback. But I think this team is playing up to what we all hoped they would. And listen, I'll be the first one to admit this schedule they had. Yeah, it's not the toughest schedule up to now, but that's what this team needed given the change at quarterback. So. Hopefully they can keep things going. The turnover margin is one thing that scares me a little bit. BYU -1 in the turnover margin in the last 2 weeks, and so they've got to take care of the ball. I don't think they can be minus in the turnover margin and win this game against the Utah. Sorry, Utah's just too good.
They're pressing their luck. Yeah, the last
absolutely.
couple of
weeks. If they turn the ball over against Utah like they did against Arizona, it's going to be a long day. And I agree with you 100% on the offensive line. We're not talking about the BYU offensive line because they're playing great and they've made life really easy on Bear Bachmeier. If they weren't, we'd all notice. Last one I have for you, Dave, is if you were the defensive coordinator, how do you scheme against Devin Dampier?
Yeah, I think BYU's done a great job. Jay Hill's done a great job of pulling up schemes for dual threat quarterbacks. And frankly, you just got to put a spy on him. And hopefully Jack Kelly can play. Fingers crossed on that one. If he does, I like BYU's chances. I mean, you got to take a page out of Texas Tech's book, which is spying and just trying to maintain your rush lanes. You got to keep Dampier in the pocket. No question he's a dynamic quarterback. But BYU with Glakser and Kelly, you can spy him. It is a bummer. You take two guys or one guy out of pass coverage, and it opens up some windows for Dampier to exploit you. But, once again, you go look at the recipe for success. Texas Tech held them to 27 yards rushing. Arizona State last week allowed them to run for 120 yards. So, there's a direct correlation with trying to limit his playmaking ability, which is his legs. He's almost like a run-first quarterback looking to create with his legs and then pass second. So if you can contain him and shut him down with the run game, I think this BYU defense could have a lot of success. I think this road atmosphere, he hasn't faced an atmosphere like this all year, maybe even in his total career. I mean, go back to New Mexico. I don't know if he ever faced an atmosphere like he's going to face on Saturday. I look back to the last time they played this game at LES. I remember just being just electric. It's like almost every snap was like it's for the national championship. So I expect the exact same. Well, I expect probably even more electric environment given what's on the line and both teams being ranked, like you guys alluded to at the beginning. So it's going to be fun. I'm nervous today. It's Tuesday, and I'm already nervous. And I got the goosebumps. I got the jitters. I think the biggest thing is just for these players. I remember the player is tough because you prepped all off season. You had so much anticipation. The whole community's talking about it. But I know this sounds cliche, but you really do have to kind of stay within yourself. You can't go out there and let the hype and let the excitement, let the adrenaline get to you. You've got to calm yourself down. And I think that's where Bronco was always right. Like, you kind of have to treat it like any other game, because if you get too high, you're going to go out there and probably make some mistakes and play outside yourself. But just do your job and go out there and execute. Hopefully, Kalani's shown that he has a track record of doing that, and hopefully you can get the guys ready. But regardless, if history proves correct, it's going to be a fun, competitive game, and I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it.
David Nixon, former BYU linebacker. Of course, he's going to have a ton of coverage on this one as well with BYU. And, David, we just love all your breakdowns, man. Thanks for being on the program. Thanks for always being willing to chat about all this stuff, man.
David, thanks.
Of course. Yeah, Alex, Jeremiah, I appreciate it. Take care. We'll see you guys.
There you go. David Nixon, one of the best.